as time flies by, you'll open up your eyes wide. You feel it's gonna go your way. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. Hey, 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 it's a brand new day.
What a great way to end our year of programming, but with our lovely British consul. Charmaine is once again back in Marbella now. Thank you for joining us here at our space.
Thanks for inviting me
Thank
again.
you for finding it. The nice thing is that she's very impressed. Julie's really, it's a lovely place at this house.
It's gorgeous, it's gorgeous.
It is a perfect place for doing get-togethers and meetings. If you haven't been, do come in to our space. Maria, Carlos would love to show you around. As with the British consulate in Madrid, in Malaga, very open to helping us. And in fact, Charmaine, I believe, following on from the new Age Concern Marbella San Pedro, you're launching through the embassy a new website for elderly people.
Yeah, I mean, basically, one of the areas of work that we find really difficult is when we have older people who are resident here and who need some support, but we can't provide it. Obviously, we're not, we're not carers. We're caring, but we're not carers, yeah? And quite often we'll get calls from hospital social workers, for instance, or even just really concerned relatives, excuse me, who want to know, what should I do in these circumstances? I have a neighbour, they've lived here for ages, the husband died, the wife's a little bit isolated now. You know how we love to buy our fincas in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. They're not really very well integrated into the local community. She's had a fall, she's ready to leave hospital now, but she needs a bit of extra care. What do we do? And basically, of course, the Spanish system is set up with the assumption is that your family are going to step in, but we know that a lot of Brits come here and they don't necessarily come with their families, and when their immediate family kind of falls away, sometimes it's really difficult for them to find the support that they need. So we kind of thought, what could we do to help? We obviously don't have the staff. I'm always telling you, we have 8 members of staff in the consulate to cover the size of Andalusia, yeah? So what could we do? And one of the things that we thought we could do is actually try and put into one place, one easily accessible place, information about the kind of support that is available, because as we know, there are lots of organisations, as you mentioned, there's Age Care, Age Concern, there are lots of organisations up and down the Costa del Sol who provide support to vulnerable British people, but people don't necessarily know that. And it's not just that the person themselves doesn't know it, sometimes neighbours, friends, health centres don't know that those services are there. So we launched this website, and we did 2 launches. One launched to a Spanish audience and one launched to a British audience. And basically it's called Support in Spain. You can use it as an individual, you can use it as a professional, you can use it as a neighbour or a friend that's concerned about someone. You can search by specific services, so you can look by finance or day centres or home helps, and you can also look by the area that the person happens to be in, and you can find there a wealth of information about the kind of support that's available out there.
Hey, hey.
Yeah, I'm here in Marbella, but it says here I'm in La Canada.
If you haven't mastered the lingo, don't worry. Linear Director has a free GPS geolocator service that will come and find you.
Hey, hey.
Is it going to be an interactive site? So, for example, Age Concern Marbella, San Pedro, that they contact the website and say this is the services we're offering, so it can be included? Well, what's the procedure?
Yeah, I mean, it's been quite interesting because it's taken us about 2 years to get here. Initially, we had this idea of we want to have this tool, this website, and then, of course, in order to do that, we had to go out and research what are the organisations that are there. So we had somebody actually from the University of Birmingham who did some research about a year ago. She got all the information together. Then we ran out of money. Then we got some more money for it, and it's all in this website now. Basically, we don't include an awful lot of information about the organisations. What we do is if that organisation looks like the right organisation according to the search that you've done, we'll give you their website and their contact details. Yeah, so you'll get a link into their information. Interestingly enough, when we did the Spanish launch, one of the organisations said to us, do you know, it'd be really useful if you would put a little bit about our organisation in there in English, because of course our website's going to be in Spanish. If you have English speaking users who only speak English, directing them to our website isn't necessarily going to be the best way of providing information for them. So we're really interested, if people have any ideas about how we could improve it, we're really interested to get that feedback. Yeah.
Well, it's a great incentive, and in fact I was with some people last week, and actually it was Catherine Stevenson, who's got a great luxury car. She even rents like really Maseratis and that for the movies and things, very cool. But we hooked up for something, and she was very worried because she was a gentleman in the same circumstance in hospital, and the Spanish hospitals are counting on the Spanish family being there for the feeding and this. Yeah. And this happened also with another friend, Joanna's friend Philip, that they find themselves in hospital and there's no one there to go and sit with them, be with them, because the situation in Spain, the setup here is really very much dependent on having that family unit, which most of us who move out here don't come with our families.
But I mean, the thing that's quite interesting, and we've made the website in English and in Spanish, yeah. So even though initially our idea was let's make this information available to individuals, we're also aware that there are hospital social workers, there are doctors, you know, there are nurses, there are all sorts of healthcare professionals or any professionals who have the same questions. Where should I send this person? And they don't, you know, they know what's available in the Spanish system, but they don't necessarily know there might be these voluntary organisations that could provide these services. Having said that, I am really kind of quite anxious that I don't want to overload the voluntary organisations. They do an amazing job on really minimal amount of income, and they do a massive amount of fundraising. So we've tried to include in the website information about what services, what benefits might you still be entitled to bring with you from the UK, for instance. A lot of people don't know that there are some benefits that are exportable that you can bring with you here, yeah?
I have to say, when I moved over years ago, if I'd have brought my car over within the first year, you don't even have to pay for it.
Exactly.
Silly things that when you, 2 years later, I think I'll bring my car in, I was like, oh.
Too late, yeah.
Too late.
Yeah. But there were also lots of, if people are empadronado, and it's back to our favourite
on
subject,
the town register,
you know,
yes.
If people are empadronado, there are lots of benefits and services they might be entitled to through the Spanish system, but only if they're empadronado. And we thought it was really important that we make that information available to people as well. So that's the reason why we make the information available in both Spanish and English, so that as wide a possible cross-section of people that might need access to it can actually access it and use it.
Why are people, particularly the Brits, so loath to go onto the Padron? What is it, Charmaine, that they're fearing?
Shall I tell you
yes.
a secret? Well, okay.
Please do.
The kinds of things that I've heard people say are, we don't want people, you know, like if we sign up, then people are going to be digging into our tax affairs and blah, blah, blah. Obviously, as the British Consul, what I'm going to say to you is, well, if you live here, then you should be doing your declaración de la renta, you know, you should be paying your taxes here. And if you aren't, then that's a little bit naughty, yeah? So in that respect, you shouldn't be fearful. We've always been told, I don't know how true this is, we've always been told by the town halls that it has nothing to do with the taxes, that they're not passing that information on to anywhere. So there is no need for people to be concerned about it. But it is a legal requirement. And the interesting thing that we find now, actually, is since the referendum for exiting the European Union, yeah, we find that people are much keener to register on the Padron, because people realise quite clearly that if there is going to be a before and an after, that it's really important that you've been registered, and that it's not going to be, oh, I've been living in Spain. It's going to be, where's your footprint? Where are you empadronado? Where have you been paying your taxes? Where are you registered with a doctor? Where have your children been going to school? Things like that. So I think, interestingly, one of the positives that's come out of Brexit is that people are sort of a little bit more interested in registering and can see, actually, there's some benefit for me to registering. But as you and I know, you should be registering because you're using your local council services. Their services are the settlement that they get from central government is based on the number of people that live in the municipio. And if half of the municipio aren't registered, then the town hall's only getting half of the money that it could be getting, which means that you're only getting half of the services
for twice the amount of people.
Exactly.
And it's not just that. In the summertime, I mean, we can get over 1 million people additional to the double already population that is officially declared. So how do we keep the streets clean? How do you look after medically all those people? How do you police those streets when there's not official figures? The thing I always think about, if the looky men, bueno, bonito, barato, they're all on the town register. So for me, that is a comforting issue. They're not here legally, most of them. They're from Senegal, they're not here legally, they don't have papers, and yet they're on the town register for the reasons you say. It's giving them that footprint, it's giving them that foot in the door.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know why it is. I really don't understand, because if you're in the UK, you register for your council tax, you know. Nobody would think of not paying it. We wouldn't get away without paying it. So I don't understand it, but I do encourage people, and especially as we're coming up to that magic Brexit date, it's really important that if you're not registered, please do register. If you have any intention of staying, please do register. It's going to be your passport to services and your passport for working out what kind of entitlement you have to be in Spain.
With the Brexit, just quickly, Charmaine, because I can't believe time goes so quickly, you're so interesting and so much we need to know. Brexit, is it more stable now, or from what I've read recently, is it just as crazy as ever and looking like, I mean, I don't even know what to ask you about it. It's like the changes every day of like...
Well, the good news over the past couple of weeks has been, in spite of all the toing and froing and bartering and negotiating and all of that, that eventually the British government has managed to convince the European Union that we have made sufficient progress on those top 3 issues, which were citizens' rights, the Irish the Northern Ireland border, and our financial commitment. So there might have been a little bit of fudge on some of those, but at least there is a general acceptance that we've made enough progress on that for us now to begin to talk about the transition period and trade as well. But kind of for most of your viewers, and certainly for most of the people that we deal with from the consulate, the big thing that we want to get onto is the transition period. How long is that going to take? How long are we going to have for that? What are the sorts of things that we're going to talk about? How are we going to schedule those agreements? What does it mean for me over the next 2 years? What does that mean for the way that I live in Spain? So it's great news that we've moved on to that next phase. Hopefully next time I come,
exactly.
I'll be able to give you some more information.
Come back, and let's hope we're a big step forward, and that we can put everybody's minds at ease, and we can have a happy and non-stressful, very relaxed 2018. Thank you so much, Charmaine.
Thanks for inviting me. It's been lovely to see you as well.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Happy Christmas. Happy New Year, and let's do 2018.
Let's do it.
Chocolat.
Hey, hey.
Well, that's it. Not only for another week, but actually for 2017. What a way to finish the year. Our lovely British consul Charmaine, Lily, back with us. We hope you've had a fabulous 2017. You've had a fabulous Christmas. You will have an amazing new year and an even better 2018. And remember to join us, because we will be back at the beginning of the year. But for now, from Marbella now and the team, it's take care and Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Bye!